Okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order, and we'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. And if the clerk could take the roll, please.
Commissioner Look.
Here.
Commissioner Brastad. Here. Commissioner Kordiak.
Here.
Commissioner Silveraja.
Here.
Commissioner West. Here. Commissioner Gamache.
Here.
Commissioner Schulte.
Here.
We have tax claims and abatements. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Brastad. Aye. Commissioner Kordiak.
Aye.
Commissioner Silveraja.
Aye.
Commissioner West. Aye. Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have the review of checks issued from Finance and Central Services and from Human Services. Is there a motion to approve? Is
So moved.
there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Then we have approval of the minutes from the June 9th County Board meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Under informational purposes, we have the announcement of our health walk today. It begins at noon from a number of locations throughout Anoka County, and we would just encourage employees to get out and take advantage of that opportunity. And we have a half mile, a mile, and 2 mile, and again, it begins today at noon. And if you participate, your name can also be entered in a raffle drawing. So we encourage our employees to make sure that they're taking care of not only their mind, but their body as well. So we will move on to Management Committee report. Commissioner West.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to start with the additional agenda. First, item 1A is a non-budgeted position in Community and Governmental Relations Medical Examiner's Office. It's for a lead investigator, grade 12. And this is something that we're very happy about. St. Louis County has decided to join our medical examiners program, and because it's such a large county, we need to have a person located in that county that will help with the situations that arise there.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Kordiak.
Aye.
Commissioner Silveraja.
Aye.
Commissioner West. Aye. Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
Commissioner Brastad. Aye.
Motion carries. Next item.
The next item is a new non-budgeted position, Central Communications 911. It's effective July 27th. And it's Communications PSAP Manager, grade 16. And this position is contingent on the retirement of Linda Hansen, which will be effective on August 15th.
I'll move it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Silveraja.
Aye.
Commissioner West. Aye. Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
Commissioner Brastad. Aye. Commissioner Kordiak.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item.
Consider approving as recommended by the Management Committee Contract C0004344. It's an employment agreement with Valerie
Sprincenetic.
Brincenack. And this is the person that will be filling the position that we just approved. And we look forward to meeting her.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner West. Aye. Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
Commissioner Brastad. Aye. Commissioner Kordiak.
Aye.
Commissioner Silveraja.
Aye. Motion carries.
And Madam Chair, the rest of the information on the regular agenda is informational.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner West. Moving on to Commissioner Schulte, the Transportation Committee report, and then also a chair report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Our Transportation Committee did meet on Monday, the 15th. The committee recommends approval of a resolution entering into an agreement with MnDOT to receive federal funds in connection with a federal aid project to improve pavement marking and lighting on two rural roadway corridors. I believe they are County Road 18 and County Road 22.
Is there an offer of the resolution?
All over it.
Resolution's been offered. Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad.
Aye.
Commissioner Kordiak.
Aye.
Commissioner Silveraja.
Aye.
Commissioner West.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item.
Next, the committee recommends approval of a resolution entering into a cooperative construction agreement with MnDOT for the completion of the addition of a right turn lane on 109th Avenue at Trunk Highway 65 in the city of Blaine.
I'll move it.
Okay, resolution's been offered by Commissioner West. Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad.
Aye.
Commissioner Kordiak.
Aye.
Commissioner Silveraja.
Aye.
Commissioner West.
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item.
The committee recommends approval of a resolution authorizing the county engineer to sell the vacant county property located at 9103 Lexington Avenue Northeast in Blaine to the Blaine Economic Development Authority.
Is there an offer of the resolution?
I'll offer it.
Okay, resolution's been offered. Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad.
Aye.
Commissioner Kordiak.
Aye.
Commissioner Silveraja.
Aye.
Commissioner West.
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item.
The committee recommends approval to enter into a joint powers agreement with the city of Centerville for the reconstruction of Centerville Road from Birch Street to Main Street and authorizing the chair of the county board and the county administrator to execute that agreement.
I will move approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded by Commissioner Brassad. Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Brassad.
Aye.
Commissioner Kordiak.
Aye.
Commissioner Silveraja.
Aye.
Commissioner West.
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item.
The committee recommends approval to increase the contract with Arndt Construction by $1,069,559 to a total of $4,332,197.64 for the successful completion of the reconstruction of Centerville Road from Birch Street to Main Street. The reason for this was soil conditions that were not discovered during soil borings. We did have a lengthy discussion at the committee meeting on the need to maybe step up our soil borings and spend a little more time up front making sure we're maybe overdoing it with soil borings to make sure we don't have a 25% increase, substantial 25% increase in a contract like this. I think what we were doing was probably the mainstream normal, and maybe we need to go a little beyond that to cover ourselves in the long run. I don't know if Doug would like to say a thing or two about that before we vote.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Schulte, County Board members, my name is Doug Fisher. I'm the County Engineer and Transportation Division Manager. That is absolutely correct. And again, this is work that would have had it been done if we'd known it was there. But it's nice to have that in the contract going into the contract than to have to deal with it from a budget standpoint after the fact. So, it's work, and I think everybody knows that Anoka County really has two types of soil. We have sand and we have peaty, mucky soils, to say it professionally. And they can be very haphazard around the county. You can drill soil borings and find sand or find muck, and then when we get out there, it's different layers. And even on this job, a lot of the unsuitable was the deep. We had a false bottom of sand, so we had sand under the road, but where our storm sewer went and was deeper cuts, that's where we experienced a lot of the unsuitables. So it was really where our pipes were more so than where our road was. So Anoka County is kind of cursed with this type of situation. This is not uncommon for us, and anytime we do. And a lot of these old roads never really were built right in the first place. They just kind of started as a dirt road and then became a gravel road, and they never really were mucked out correctly. So depending on how they were originally built adds to this issue. But I agree with Commissioner Schulte and the committee, the discussion that they had, that a little more upfront soil boring, so we really have a firmer grasp on some of these projects, so at least we know going in exactly what entails for those projects.
So Doug, will this extend the timeline as far as the project goes, or does it continue to be on time?
Madam Chair, that's a good question. I'd say right now, we're pretty much on time. Really, it's the rain that could be the big, is always the big delay on a project like this, because the rain, but we're really at a point right now where a lot of that underground is done and curbs going down, and once all that underground stuff, people say you just keep pushing the same dirt over and over and over, but we're doing millions of dollars of work underground with utilities, our utilities, the private utilities. Once that's done, the road actually falls into place fairly quickly. So the intersections up on Main Street that are going to be replaced, the concrete intersections, that work actually should be performed tomorrow. I think we're on schedule. We'll get this thing done within the next month for sure. So.
And Madam Chair, I would like to reiterate that this isn't necessarily a cost overrun on the project, because this is all work that would have had to have been done no matter what. It's just one that we didn't budget for because we didn't know about it ahead of time.
Right.
And that's something that I think we need to work on, because getting the budget straightened out, understanding what a project costs before we start is pretty important. And I know Doug recognizes that, and so does his entire department. So we'll figure out how to fix that going forward. In the meantime, I will make a motion.
Yeah, I'll second it. Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Kordiak.
Aye.
Commissioner Silveraja.
Aye.
Commissioner West.
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And then as the chair of the committee, I would recommend approval to authorize the county engineer to advertise for bids for the reconstruction of the Broadway Avenue and Kettle River Boulevard Northeast intersection to a roundabout in the city of Columbus.
Yeah, I'll move approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just as an explanation, normally this wouldn't even come to the board. It rises to a committee level, but the committee isn't meeting in a timely fashion for this to happen sooner rather than later. So we thought that a board action would be reasonable at this point.
Okay. Thank you. Further discussion?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Kordiak.
were they feeling left out because everybody else got a roundabout?
No, Commissioner. It seems as though this new tool in the toolbox seems to be the only way that we're actually able to access funds for some of the intersections. When we apply, there have been other cases as well where we apply for funds and we're not successful if we look at putting a stoplight. But when you apply for a roundabout, all of a sudden it seems to rise to the level that it seems to qualify. So I think that the good news is a number of folks in the Columbus area, they do a lot of their shopping in Forest Lake, so have experience with roundabouts. I think both positive as well as maybe some negative, but Doug has assured me that with his hesitancy towards roundabouts, that he is going to make sure that the roundabouts done in Anoka County are going to be done right and to the size that they need to be constructed in order to make sure that it is accommodating not only buses, but trucks and everything else, so.
Well, if Columbus is happy, I'm happy.
Commissioner
Chair.
Schulte.
Commissioner Kordiak, this particular intersection lends itself to a roundabout
Nice.
better than stoplights because of
Yeah,
that
I see
heavy
some.
skewed angle.
Yeah.
And there are certain intersections, five-legged intersections or anything like that, where they become this misconfigured, where a roundabout actually works better than stoplights, so.
The funding piece is interesting, Commissioner. I can appreciate the different funding sources, but it isn't, I hadn't thought about that approach, but yeah, true. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Did we vote on that?
I don't think we voted.
Okay.
on this.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries.
And Madam Chair, there are just a couple informational items there. I would encourage you to take the time to look at the corridor updates. It's that time of year where some projects are wrapping up and some are ramping up. So understanding that and being able to answer your constituents' questions it's a good document to do that. So if you get a chance, peruse that. With that, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Schulte. Now we move on to Commissioner Look, Finance and Capital Improvements Committee report, and he also has a chair report.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. The Finance and Capital Improvements Committee met on June 16th. We came away with 4 action items. The first of which is the committee recommends County Board approve contract 2009-0219F with Rogers Auto Body for vehicle body repair services for the period of August 1st, 2015 through July 31st, 2016. And the terms of the contract remain the same, and we get an exceptional rate on our repairs.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
I'll move.
Moved by Commissioner Gamache, second by Commissioner Schulte. Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Silveraja,
Aye.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad,
Aye.
Commissioner Kordiak.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item.
The second item is the committee recommends the county board approve contract C004320 to Royal Vending Company, Maple Grove, for micro market vending and office coffee services for the period of July 1st, 2015 through June 30th, 2020. This is a commission-based contract, and we actually see a fair amount of money come in off of this, so it's a decent contract for the county.
Is there a motion to approve?
Move.
Moved by Commissioner Kordiak. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner West. Further discussion?
Madam Chair, just to identify the micro market a little bit, it's going to be in the same lunchroom on the second floor. It's going to offer some healthy options, and I think it'll be a new, and if people don't want to run out for lunch, it'll be a quick lunch for them type of option, and I think it'll actually be a nice addition to the county.
All
Look
right.
forward to seeing that.
Thank you for your work on moving this forward. Okay, roll call vote.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad,
Aye.
Commissioner Kordiak,
Aye.
Commissioner Silveraja.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item.
The third item is the committee recommends the county board approve the following master contracts to the lowest responsible bidders for heating, ventilating, and air conditioning maintenance programs and repairs, plumbing, electrical, and automation controls. These are 3-year agreements with options to renew. And essentially, we, as a committee, looked at this and determined that rather than for each project that we have out there trying to go out for bid for this, we were going to establish a master contract, save our purchasing department the time of having to chase all these contracts around. And if we have a plumbing concern or an HVAC repair or maintenance type of concern, we have someone on contract that will be dispatched to get that taken care of right away for us. It's a time saving and efficiency measure.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Gamache,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad,
Aye.
Commissioner Kordiak,
Aye.
Commissioner Silveraja,
Aye.
Commissioner West.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And Madam Chair, the fourth item is the committee recommends the county board approve the establishment of a change fund in the amount of $200 to be used in transaction business by social services and behavioral health staff.
Okay, is there a motion to approve? Is
I'll move.
there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad,
Aye.
Commissioner Kordiak,
Aye.
Commissioner Silveraja,
Aye.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving on to the chair.
Yep.
report.
Madam Chair, the chair's report is I recommend that the county board approve resolution 2015-F6, adopting a performance measure program. This is a program administered through the state, voluntary program that we do get compensated for. And as you go through some of those performance measure outcomes, it's good information. How many people visit the parks? How many people visit the libraries? What's our election accuracy, which notably is 100%? And some of the other things. So it's actually good information for folks. And I think the state compiles it and compares it. And like I say, we get compensated for doing this. So
Okay, is there an offer of the resolution?
I'll offer it.
Resolution's been offered by Commissioner Look. Further discussion?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Kordiak.
can I presume from the general description that much of the information we already have, we're simply sharing it? I assume that we're not doing surveys and studies and things like that. I think we're just gathering information, yeah. It's pretty much the case, the time to pull it together and forward it. Thank you.
Okay. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
And Madam Chair, the balance of it is informational on the first report. That concludes both.
Thank you, Commissioner Look. Now we'll move on to Human Services Committee report, and I want to thank Commissioner Kordiak for chairing the committee for me in my absence. First of all, I'll move the consent agenda unless someone wants to pull something out separately.
Second.
Okay, and that's a roll call vote.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad,
Aye.
Commissioner Kordiak,
All right.
Commissioner Silveraja,
Aye.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Motion carries. Under Economic Assistance, consider recommending the county board enter into contract C0004258. It's a renewal with the Anoka County Sheriff's Office for fraud prevention investigation services in an amount of up to $245,827 from July 1st, 2015 through June 30th, 2016. Is there a motion to approve? Is
So moved.
there a second?
Second.
Further discussion?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner.
I can't help but comment just for Commissioner's benefit that understand that many counties don't necessarily have a fraud prevention unit. I don't know how many might, but we long have. I think we've seen the benefit over the years of having some of our public understand that we are watching issues and problems and concerns as they come to our attention. I think that we long felt that we probably pretty much recovered the cost from our candidates out there of fraud-related issues, and that the cost avoidance is a factor that we also can weigh in. So I think we're happy with that. It's been a long-time relationship. It built linkages with the county attorney's office and the sheriff's office and Human Services Center. So I think we just see the benefits of this contract, and I too have long supported it.
Thank you, Commissioner Kordiak, and I think that really the partnership that we've had, as well as the staff who have been in place there over the years, have done an amazing job as far as for every dollar spent, the return on investment, and so we're very proud of, really they've kind of led the state in many areas, so I appreciate that. Okay, roll call vote.
Commissioner Brassad,
Aye.
Commissioner Kordiak,
All right.
Commissioner Silveraja,
Aye.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is to consider recommending the county board approve an updated partnership agreement between the Anoka County Board of Commissioners and the Anoka County Workforce Development Board effective July 1st, 2015.
Move.
And is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Kordiak,
Aye.
Commissioner Silveraja,
Aye.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad.
Aye.
Motion carries. Under Community Health and Environmental Services, consider recommending the county board enter into the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, their TANF grant project agreement with the Minnesota Department of Health in an amount of $315,522 per year from July 1st, 2015 through June 30th, 2017, pending review and approval by the county attorney's office. And I will move approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Silveraja,
Aye.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad,
Aye.
Commissioner Kordiak.
Aye.
Motion carries. Under Social Services, item number 5 is to consider recommending the county board extend the following contract terms to September 30th, 2015 for family-based services at existing rates. There's a number of contracts listed there. I will move approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad,
Aye.
Commissioner Kordiak,
Aye.
Commissioner Silveraja.
Aye. Motion carries. We're going to pull item 6 and address that on the additional agenda that I have. We'll move to item number 7, consider recommending the county board enter into the following sub-grantee agreements funded by the Family Homeless Prevention and Assistance Program from July 1st, 2015 through June 30th, 2017. And that's with Alexandra House, Rise Incorporated, Stepping Stone Emergency Housing, Salvation Army, and the Emma B. Howe YMCA. I will move approval of those contracts. Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? I just want to say congratulations to the staff who worked very hard in making sure that we were successful in securing this grant funding. You know that we have certainly had some challenges in that area, and so to be able to receive this funding in order to address some of those needs in the community is very important, and I know that staff worked very hard in really bringing partners within the community together in order to make sure that we could be successful, so I want to thank them for that. Okay, roll call vote.
Commissioner Gamache,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad,
Aye.
Commissioner Kordiak,
Aye.
Commissioner Silveraja,
Aye.
Commissioner West.
Aye.
Motion carries. And I'll offer Resolution 2015 HS 15 Economic Assistance Bills. Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad,
Aye.
Commissioner Kordiak,
Aye.
Commissioner Silveraja,
Aye.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Motion carries. And then on the additional agenda, it's to consider adoption of Resolution 2015 HS 16, accepting the program funding from the Family Homeless Prevention and Assistance Program, which was referenced earlier. And I'll offer that resolution. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad,
Aye.
Commissioner Kordiak,
Aye.
Commissioner Silveraja,
Aye.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Motion carries. And that concludes my report. Now we'll move on to Property Records and Taxation Committee report. Commissioner Kordiak.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We met briefly the other day. A couple items, they were all information items. One slightly interesting one was discussion of the Soil and Water Conservation District, which we're all familiar with and impacted somehow in this county. Elected group of officials that serve the interests of the watershed district. I think there was legislation that required that they change from, I think what they have right now is districts based upon predominantly watershed districts, which vary in shape and size, the number of communities that they impact, and a wide variety of other things. Legislation suggested that they need to come closer to contiguous boundaries and more compact considerations, and a 5% deviation or variation of population, and varying landmarks so they can understand the district boundaries better. And although they looked at several different models, selected one that they best met their needs. There still will be 5 members. There's some discussion about whether they go to 7, but they're working out internally, and they were simply introducing that to us for our information purposes. And maybe we're going to change a minor thing, which you may see later. This is currently, when we look at a wide variety of abatements, someone gets a $100 abatement or property tax, we take it as a general action item. We don't discuss it, vote it, or review it. It's there for you to approve, and we simply do. On the other hand, when a house is burned down by fire, we've been acting upon them under different passage that we have through our internal processes. I think we'd like to simply streamline that and move that discussion so that they are treated the same and we're never questioned, and they're always pretty perfunctory, so we're going to blend those two together when you see it coming forward soon. That otherwise concludes that report, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Kordiak, and appreciate you looking at how we can continue to streamline our services and really follow the lean process that we have tried to move throughout Anoka County. Thank you for that. Now we will move on to Public Safety Committee Chair Report. Commissioner Brassad.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I recommend that the county board approve and execute a memorandum of understanding for the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant Program for year 2015, local solicitation between the City of Coon Rapids and Anoka County. The City of Coon Rapids crime statistics have qualified them to receive the JAG funds in the amount of $10,769. The terms require Coon Rapids act as the fiscal agent on behalf of the county and to enter into a memorandum of understanding between the county and the city to make the application and receive the funds.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
There a second?
Second?
Been moved and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Brassad,
Aye.
Commissioner Kordiak,
Aye.
Commissioner Silveraja,
Aye.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Madam Chair. Just wanted to make a quick comment, and they mentioned Coon Rapids crime stats. I was at a program yesterday with the police chief from Coon Rapids, and the crime rate in 2014 was 1% lower than it was in 1969.
Wow.
It's been on a steady decrease for the last 6 years, and whatever they're doing right. The crime rate is dropping precipitously, and we're all very pleased by that. And he did make it a point to suggest that Coon Rapids has become more and more diverse over those years, and yet crime has gone down, the opposite of what many people would predict or think. And so he made that point very prominently, and I would echo his comments there.
Well, good news, and thank you for sharing that information. Now we move on to a time certain public hearing, and I will turn it over to Deputy County Attorney Marcy Crane.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, I will convene a public hearing to obtain public comments concerning Anoka County fees for licenses, permits, and services. Notice of this meeting was published on June 12th of 2015 in the official Anoka County newspaper, and I would ask that the clerk please make note of that for the record. I ask Patty Hetrick, the Anoka County Budget Director, to now address the board.
Thank you, Ms. Crane and County Commissioners. Today we'll review the June fee hearing. For the record, I am Patty Hetrick. I am the Budget Director for Anoka County. All fees reflect actual costs or less than actual costs. On page 1 of the fees to be voted on, the first is Community Health and Environmental Services. This is a new fee, and it will cover licenses for nonprofit fundraising in a blanket permit for multiple vendors. Second one is Human Social Services, and we do this every year. We attach the new sliding fee schedule for detox and mental health client services based on income. The third one is Law Library. This is a fee that we've done a lot of analysis on. Currently, they're using fund balance to sustain their services, even though they've drastically reduced services. This fee will help them pay for services at a zero, county levy of zero. Library, they're changing their policy. They're going to put out iPads for a week rather than an hour, so they're going to take away the hourly fee, and the weekly fee, if the iPad is not returned, is going from $500 to $250. Medical examiner's office, what they're basically doing is combining fees into one autopsy fee and then eliminating fees that no longer exist due to new technology. Page 2, Parks and Community Services. All of these fees are representative of various operating increased costs, except for the second one. And we have a new fee for persons with disabilities. We have a discounted fee both for the daily permit and annual permit. The last one is University of Minnesota Extension. The 4-H Family Farm Fest is no longer offered, so that fee has been eliminated. And the Master Gardener booth fee has gone from $60 to $50. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Hetrick. I would now ask if any member of the board has a question for Ms. Hetrick. Hearing none,
Actually,
Oh, sorry.
quick question.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I'm going to, and I know that the law library folks are here today, I want to pick on them a little bit. But as it relates to this increase in the fee, there is a couple of issues that I was made aware of. And is it appropriate to talk about these at this point, or is that for discussion later?
is your opportunity to ask any questions that you
Okay.
have.
The first issue that I was made aware of is evidently there's a self-help opportunity now for people to research information as is needed, which, as I understand, kind of takes away some of the need for a library. That's not exactly sure what percentage that takes away. But I think the primary issue is that, as I understand, not all the judges were in favor of this increase of fee for a few different reasons. The first reason was that these fees in some cases aren't being paid at all. That people aren't, although the judges require them to pay it, they're not paying it. They can't afford to pay it, or whatever the issue is. The fee simply isn't being paid. The second issue, as I understand it, is that there's some, if you, I'll disclaim that I haven't gotten a speeding ticket in quite a few years, but as I recall, in a speeding ticket, you pay your fine and then you pay all these fees that are, put onto it. And there's some cross fees, shall you say. In other words, one entity is paying for fees in other cases when it's not necessarily for their usage, but other entities are benefiting from the collection of those fees and the application of those fees. And I'm not sure if somebody can perhaps comment on that and shed some light on it.
Thank you, Commissioner Look.
I'm sorry.
Ms. Hetrick?
Do you guys want to come up? We have experts, so I will let them speak to it.
Morning, Judge.
These are both on. Commissioners, I'm Kristen Larson. I'm a judge here in Anoka County. I was appointed in 2008. I've been on the Law Library Board of Trustees since 2009. And I'm currently president of the Law Library Board of Trustees, which does have two other judge members, another member of the local bar, an attorney, and Ms. Crane is a member, and Brian Franz from the county attorney's office is a member. As to the issue about self-help, there is a new 10th Judicial District self-help employee that is employed in the courthouse. The 10th Judicial District is doing the self-help program as a pilot. It's not certain it's going to continue to be funded. Right now, it's a 6-month pilot. That individual who is employed in the courthouse is tasked with many duties, and it's not well defined yet, but he is going to be developing resources for self-represented litigants throughout the 10th Judicial District, not just in Anoka County. He's been able to help a limited number of people with a limited number of legal issues. However, the reason that the courts developed the self-help program is because the number of self-represented people only continues to grow. The Law Library has been the center and focus of all self-help resources for as long as I've been in this courthouse, and actually longer than that. I started as an assistant Anoka County attorney in 1990. You can count how many years that's been. It was before my time. The Law Library helps over 200 people a week who are unrepresented by attorneys through a combination of direct services provided by Gene Myers, our law librarian, and Mary Conway, his assistant. There are 2 full-time employees in the law library, and they have clinics that they run also. The answer to your question, Commissioner Look, is the number of self-represented people only continues to grow, and our district administrator, Mike Moriarty, has observed throughout the district that the numbers are not going to level off for many years. It's just a trend that continues in our society for a variety of reasons I probably don't have time to explain. So the Self-Help Center does not take much of a bite into the need that only continues to increase. The Self-Help Center that we are trying to develop in the courts has to turn away people and regularly refer them to the law library because the law librarians are actually able to offer a greater scope of services and serve a greater number of people. As to the bench's support for the fee increase, frankly, we just passed this fee increase last Thursday. A lot of people are on vacation. I have never taken a poll of the entire bench, and I wouldn't have had time to do so in order to present anything to you. So I'm hesitant to say one way or the other whether the full bench supports a fee increase. I know of a couple of people who don't, and a larger number, I would venture to guess the vast majority of the judges do support the fee increase because it allows for the services to continue, at least at the level we currently are serving the public. Nobody likes fee increases, but they're a fact of life sometimes. The law library has not requested a fee increase since 2007. And I can tell you that with respect to this particular request, to go from $10 to $13 does not make Anoka County an outlier by any means. When we were researching the issue, I counted 16 other counties that charge $15. One of them charges $18 as its law library fee. So 13 is not going to make Anoka County an outlier. Do judges all like the fee? Well, let me explain it this way. When I have a truly indigent person before me, who I believe will not be able to pay much of a fine because it's tacked onto the fine, we have a surcharge and a law library fee that currently adds up to $85. Don't ask me what all the surcharge is for, that goes to the courts. But I will typically impose $50 plus the $85 surcharge and law library fee if it's a person who's capable of employment. If it's a person who lives on truly limited circumstances, is mentally ill, unable to work, relies solely on government assistance, I waive it. And I waive the law library fee too, and that's what other judges do. So I don't believe that the fee is being imposed on people who cannot afford to pay it. The final question you asked was about case types and whether it's imposed, whether this fee is imposed on people who aren't the users. And I guess the best way to answer that is to say it's imposed on all case types, and that includes criminal defendants when it's imposed by a judge and not waived. But those same criminal defendants, even if they're of limited financial resources, are going to be in need of the law library's self-help services more than likely at some point in their lives. For instance, anyone who has a DWI and who has limited income at some point is going to need help with a family law clinic, will be having a child custody or child support issue where they need help figuring out what forms to file to respond to an increase in child support request, or they may have an eviction landlord-tenant problem, or they may have a public benefits issue that they're not understanding, and they go to Jean and Mary for help. And they're getting that help without any fees being charged for the service at that time. I hope that helps answer your questions.
Thank you, Judge Larson. Does any member of the board have any questions for Judge Larson?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Cordiak?
if I can, I'll just comment a couple of things. I mean, one of them, this board must understand that we have a statutory obligation to provide a law library. The law doesn't say in any measure how you serve it, fund it, staff it, or whatever, so you could do a great deal with that. But you have an obligation to provide that as a service to your public. This board has chosen for years and years to use the mechanism of the fee structure that the court has within its system to fund the library. Now, Hennepin County, for instance, funds all the law library costs out of its own budget annually. I don't know what all other counties do, but if it's not funded by a mechanism that's made up of those people who are violating the laws of Anoka County, then it can be funded by you and me. Or we can make up the shortfall budgetarily within our own budget because we do have to provide the service. And if you want to provide any measure of responsible service to your constituents as they meet the needs of their life within our county court system, then that's an option. You talk about about charging users. The fact of the matter is, I think some of the judges have some concern about not charging the users, the people that show up at the law library, because you're charging people that got a traffic ticket a fee, and they may not well use our county library system, trust me. But on the other hand, that's true of every single service that Anoka County offers from top to bottom. You can use the same rationale that they don't use whatever, but they're paying for it, and they are. I'll just comment that the board, I think, will take some greater scrutiny now to take a look at the budgets and work with Gene Myers, our director there, to figure out what we need to do to make sure that the money coming in meets the money going out. I think we cut something like $100,000 out of last year's budget. A relatively small budget. We took a whatever portion of a fifth of it away. So I think that we feel we've done some responsible things. Maybe we can do some more things. We'll be examining that more carefully. And the money supply is kind of slowing up, so we need to understand how to make the two match and meet. Either you raise fees or you cut services. The board's going to have to make those determinations in the future and come back to you with whatever recommendations it might make in the future that you can entertain. Otherwise, that's the proposal, though, today as I see it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kordiak. Are there any other questions or comments from the board for Judge Larson? Thank you, Judge Larson.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Ms. Hetrick?
Are there any other questions? If not, we need the resolution passed.
Okay. You have concluded with your presentation?
I've concluded.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Hetrick? Thank you. I will now invite members of the public to come forward and address the board on the issue of Anoka County fees. Does any member of the public wish to come forward and make a comment? Does any member of the public wish to come forward and make a comment? Please approach the podium. And please state your name for the record, spelling your name.
It's Tim Bayland, B as in boy, A-L-A-N-D as in David.
What is your city of residence?
I live in Coon Rapids, Minnesota.
Thank you. I would ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Sounds good. I'm a private attorney, a former law librarian, and a heavy end user of the law library. I also volunteer at the law library's family law clinic, and I think the library just makes the work of the courts and the judges a lot easier. People go in having half an idea of what they're doing. Based on all that, and I submitted a letter to the board as well, I just want to say that I support the proposed increase.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there any other member of the public who wishes to come forward and make a comment? Does any other member of the public wish to come forward and make a comment? Does any member of the public wish to come forward and make a comment? Hearing none, at this point, the public meeting is adjourned, and I will turn this meeting back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to the resolution. And is there an offer of resolution 2015-78 relating to the fees that we just discussed?
I'll offer it.
Okay, resolution's been offered. Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Kordiak.
Aye.
Commissioner Silveraja.
Aye.
Commissioner West.
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Opposed?
Commissioner Brassad.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Now we will go back to Waste Management and Energy Committee report, and thank you very much, Patty, for your presentation.
Thank you.
Commissioner Kordiak.
Madam Chair, thank you very much. We had our recent meeting of the Waste Management and Energy Committee. There were two action items. One of them is an annual process that you've seen before regarding the license renewal of the various solid waste and hazardous waste facilities which we have in Anoka County. I think you'll see about 20 of them there. They're contained in your agendas regarding solid waste, yard waste, special waste, hazardous waste, and whatever other accommodations. I'm told that that's the sum total of those agreements. Obviously, we've had long-term relationships with those folks. They all pay a fee. We all provide them with services and monitoring and whatever, and that's kind of what their process is about. I would like to move item 1, Madam Chair.
Okay, is there a second?
Second?
Been seconded by Commissioner Gamache. Further discussion? Hearing none,
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Look.
Just for clarification, this is These renewals, we're still going out for bid on the one that's not included in this. Commissioner Kordiak?
That's listed as item number 1 in information. Yes, that is correct, Commissioner.
Okay, just wanted to make sure it was broken out. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Right.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A long time ago, I talked to Brad Fields and I said, what does this integrated waste management mean? I've always struggled with it. He said, I've always hated that name. And the conversation went on to there, and we kind of had to name the department contest, Madam Chair. And please don't make me go there again. But after due diligence and variety of examinations, I think Commissioner Look and Schulte and I, with others, came to a conclusion that we felt that we might consider renaming that department Recycling and Resource Solutions. We felt it was simple, doesn't quite have an acronym yet, but we will think about that. But we felt that we were all about recycling in that endeavor, and Resource Solutions talked about getting rid of different types of waste that may not be recycling, but are managed responsibly. And so if that can roll off your tongue any better, Recycling and Resource Solutions, that's what we propose as a name change for that department, Madam Chair.
Is there a motion to?
I'll move it.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, further discussion.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Schulte.
As far as acronyms, Commissioner Kordiak, I'm glad we're not calling it the swim club. I belong to the Solid Waste Management Coordinating Board currently, and when I tell people I'm going to swim club, they look at me funny.
I love it. I tell people.
Sure, we'll come up with something simple like RRS or something.
As or something. Thank you.
Well, since you brought that up, Commissioner Schulte, RRS happens to be my initial, so I don't know if I want to have, not sure I'm real comfortable with that acronym.
Well, we knew that.
Unless that's your opinion of me, so. But anyway,
Personal.
yeah, I appreciate the move in this direction, because I think we need to make sure that, many times we get so used to certain acronyms or certain language that is used in regard to describing government services. And to the general public, it makes no sense whatsoever. So I appreciate the move to actually have a name that makes sense, that people can look at and say, oh, this is where I get information about, where I can, recycle certain items. So thank you. I appreciate that. It's definitely a move in the right direction. So with that, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There were a couple of information items. One of them, Commissioner Look pointed out, but we did take a look at our yard waste and compost operations. We've had a contract with the vendor for a rather long time. We've been very successful, and you never get any real complaints, but we felt it was time to go out for an RFP and take a broader look at opportunities out there. So we are developing an RFP. We will go out there. We will look at potential interested parties and come back at a later point in time with a future recommendation. Our relationship with them, I think, continues through like February something of next year, so we have time to do that. The committee and others will examine that in the days ahead. We heard again briefly from WasteWise. They had some really good successes from about 4 or 5 specific companies that they're doing some really good stuff with. Now, they're working with many, but this is a relationship that you and I have with them to work with the commercial and business sector. And they seem to be doing a pretty effective job for us. And I'll just mention, lastly, we did expand slightly the hours of the household hazardous waste facility. We were reminded about the somewhat reduced but continuing east side household hazardous waste collection opportunities in the county fairgrounds, which we're doing once again this year. And lastly, we did send to every household the recycling guide, which used to be the Recyclopedia. I'll never get over that. But the recycling guide, of course, lists an endless variety of services and resources. It's sent to each household in Anoka County. And I think that our team of all the cities were very supportive of coming out with a booklet again. We only do it every few years, but that has already been issued for distribution into the community. That concludes my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Kordiak. In fact, I was just commenting to someone the other day that I don't know if I asked my kids today, what an encyclopedia is, if they knew. I don't know that they would necessarily
No,
know.
yes.
So thus the name change and making sure that we are keeping up to date as to what people are using as far as the vernacular out there.
I'll get over it.
So I guess we're getting old.
Madam Chair, I would like to comment on the tails of Commissioner Kordiak's report that we did have our awards ceremony last week.
Yeah.
Recycling awards for out the cities and township within our county, and it was very successful, a lot of attendance, people really enjoyed it, and they received their just rewards.
Annie?
Fantastic. Thank you
Thank
very much. Now we'll move on to item number 10, consider approving a contract renewing the professional and general liability insurance for the East Central Regional Juvenile Center from GenStar Insurance Company through Arthur J. Gallagher, and that is in the amount of $25,384 for a one-year period ending July 1st, 2016. And I would just say thank you to Bill Keller for his hard work and effort. Actually, this is a decrease in premium from last year, so that's always very much appreciated. So is there I will move approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion?
You know, Madam Chair, this really, I'll just comment, that this whole project here has really been, we don't always pay attention to this, but this has really been a fine endeavor. I mean, Jerry Soma looked at the time about 11 or 13 counties that all got a little bit of money that couldn't do enough of it with anything, threw it all together into this facility here, which has been serving them this public need of reaching out to young people who are in distress. And it provides a really critical opportunity for them. I think we've kind of greatly increased the number of counties that are active members with us. We have many other counties that contribute to us. We have beds of varying kinds. They offer responsible services. They offer immediate attention, short-term attention, longer-term options. And it's served the public very, very well. It's been cost-effective. The partners show up. We meet 3 times a year. I serve on that board. They've been coming for all these years, actively participating. They never really miss. And so the whole project has their support and participation. And I'll just remind you, the whole endeavor has been a very useful adjunct to what we do in Anoka County.
Thank you, Commissioner Kordiak. Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Silveraja?
Aye.
Commissioner West?
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache?
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte?
Aye.
Commissioner Look?
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad?
Aye.
Commissioner Kordiak?
Aye.
Motion carries. The next item is to consider approving contract C0004337, renewing the automobile insurance policy with the Travelers Company, again through Arthur J. Gallagher. And that's in the amount of $286,343 for a one-year period ending July 1st, 2016. Again, thanks to Bill Keller and his hard work and diligence. Actually, it's a slight decrease in this premium as well, which is always good to see. So I will move approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been seconded by Commissioner Schulte. Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner West?
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache?
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte?
Aye.
Commissioner Look?
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad?
Aye.
Commissioner Kordiak?
Aye.
Commissioner Silveraja?
Aye. Motion carries. The final item is committee appointments. We have a number of appointments. The first is to consider appointing Sue Redmond from Alexandra House as a community representative to the Anoka Children and Family Council for a 3-year term. The next is consider appointing or reappointing a number of individuals to the Workforce Development Board for a 2-year term ending June 30th, 2017. Mary Beth Olson from Alina, Michelle Heiselman from the Minneapolis Regional Labor Federation, and the reappointment Shirley Barnes from Crestview, Jerry Miller from Bell Mortgage, Sue Savarese from Santa Rude Savarese and Associates, Michael Thews from John Roberts, Terry Hart from Kraus Anderson, Pat Adams from Anoka Hennepin School District, and Eric Ameth from Deed. And then the final item is to consider appointing to Children's Mental Health Advisory and Coordination Council for a 3-year term, Nita Kumar from the Anoka Hennepin Schools and Aaron LaVenture from Accurate Home Care. So is there a motion to approve items 12A, B, and C?
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Brassad, second by Commissioner Schulte. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Anything else to come before the county board? If not, meeting's adjourned.